Hi everyone, I'm Sukran Karaosmanoglu from University of Hamburg, and today I will present the paper that I co-authored with Moritz Wegner, Sebastian Cmentowski, and Steinicke. Physical activity improves well-being and greatly reduces the risk of severe common illnesses. Despite such a benefit, a report by the World Health Organization reveals that many people do not meet the recommendations for daily physical activity. Thus, we need novel and innovative solutions to combat this problem. Exergames incorporate physical effort as a fundamental aspect of gameplay. They are among the most played VR games in the commercial market. Since these games aim to not only fulfill users' needs for enjoyment but also deliver exerting workouts, they should incorporate informative feedback that motivates players to perform the movements optimally. In our research, we focus on exploring continuous cues for movement, which are real-time indications of how movements are being performed. Delivering information throughout the exercise in a continuous form, as opposed to binary cues, failure experience, can allow players to monitor and adapt their performance constantly. A good example for this is the activity feature on the Apple Watch. Here, the red ring gives a continuous feedback of the calories burned during the physical exercise. While these cues possess great potential for VR exergames, their exploration is limited. Therefore, in our paper, we answer two research questions. How does having continuous cues affect player experience and performance in VR exergames? How do different continuous cue modalities affect player experience and performance? To answer our research questions, we created a VR exergame using cues. Our game features static body poses that are from established physical practices. To indicate which pose players have to perform, they are confronted with 3D cutout walls approaching them at a constant speed. In our game, we narrow down our focus to two modalities and use simple auditory and visual cues, because those elements can be easily integrated into any VR exergame. As cues, we manipulate the color of an in-game visual element, lines, and the frequency of a repeatedly played sound. You can see the minimum and maximum performance indicators for the cues in the table. For example, in the case of a visual cue, if a player performs the movement with a 0% success, the lines is colored in bright red. On the opposite, lines are colored in green to indicate 100% success. Here are example illustrations of how our cues changes based on the performance of the players. For example, the visual one and the audio one. In the end, our final game included 3 minutes of gameplay for each condition and featured auditory and or visual cues. This is just some illustration here. To understand the impact of cues, we conducted a user study. In total, we had 4 conditions featuring combination of our independent variables. In the study, we measured the cybersickness, player experience, physical activity enjoyment, physical and cognitive workload, preference, and game performance. We recruited 32 participants with the mean age of 25.81 years. Our results indicate no significant effect of time points on the SSQs categories. Overall, continuous cues mostly improve player experience. For example, players experience more immersion and enjoyment when playing the conditions with cues and also felt the game was more meaningful and delivered better feedback. Adding cues did not lead to significantly higher cognitive workload, but audio cueing led to higher physical workload compared to no cueing. Participants experienced a lower perceived improvement in no cueing compared to all conditions that featured cues. However, only bimodal cueing led to significantly higher pause accuracy compared to not receiving any cues. Our findings show that players did not experience notable and increased cybersickness symptoms. Interestingly, only audio cueing led to higher physical workload, and we think that the repeatedly played sound may have created a sense of urgency and pressure, which may have resulted in more movement, leading players to feel a higher physical workload. No cueing was found to be significantly less meaningful and provided less progress feedback. These findings match our reasoning for providing cues to make the game respond to players' movements and give them immediate feedback. Players found all conditions with cues more enjoyable and immersive. We believe that adding new game elements that react to the players makes the game more lively and hence more enjoyable and immersive. Players' pose accuracy was significantly better in bimodal condition. Thus, we conclude that bimodal cues are helpful for guiding players to perform correct movements. Overall, our results emphasize that continuous cues, regardless of their modality, mostly improve player experience in VR Exergames. However, in terms of player performance, the effects of continuous cues are not apparent. Regarding the modality, the results reveal mixed effects. Different modalities affect specific player experience constructs. While audio cueing leads to higher curiosity compared to not receiving any cues, this is not the case for visual cueing. And only combination of cues led to significantly improved player performance. We also provide three design implications. One of the main shortcomings of our visual cue is the possible granularity of feedback. Whereas it's relatively easy to notice the changes in the sound's frequency, players had more difficulty distinguishing between two color variations. Our qualitative results hint that this may be related to human perception of differentiating color changes. In our game, we used two-line representations and constantly played medium-pitch sounds as cues. We preferred simplicity, as such cues could be easily integrated into Exergames. However, for some games, other designs could be more feasible and preferred. Our results also align with rehabilitation research that emphasizes the benefits of using cues in physical therapy. Accordingly, we recommend VR Exergames targeting medical-focused training to integrate cues to guide players in performing movements. Thank you for listening to this talk. Please refer to the paper for more details and contact me or my co-authors with any questions.